Hello, welcome to another edition of 5-Minute FRQ, where I take you through an old FRQ on the AP Bio exam in 5 minutes or less. As always, this information is freely available on the College Board's AP Bio website, so if you have any questions, you can look it up there. All right, this is question 5 on the 2023 AP exam, and before I even read it, you can see that this is a question that involves a cladogram or a phylogenetic tree, which are pretty common questions on the AP Bio exam. All right, let's dig right in. Ruminants are hoofed animals, including cattle and sheep, that have a unique four-chambered stomach specialized to digest tough, fiber-filled grasses. Researchers studying ruminants are investigating the morphological and molecular characteristics of different ruminant families in order to determine the evolutionary relationships among the families. Cladograms of several ruminant families were constructed based on morphological data, which is Figure 1a, and molecular data, which is Figure 1b. Table 1 shows a sample of the morphological characteristics present in each family used to construct the cladogram in Figure 1a. So before we even look at the question, looking at these two trees, this one you might want to read this question twice. Figure 1a uses morphological data, and Figure 1b uses molecular data. Make sure you note that from the question. In the two trees, the main similarities between them two, both input Tragulidae, and I might be mispronouncing that. If I am, forgive me. The outgroup in both these trees is Tragulidae. The outgroup is the first or the earliest diverged, and Cervidae in both trees is the group on the far right. The main difference are here, you can see Giraffidae and Bovidae have a common ancestor or a recent ancestor on tree A. And in tree B, Giraffidae and Antilocapridae have a common recent ancestor, and Bovidae and Moschidae have a recent ancestor. Okay, what's even the question? It also gives me this table showing morphological characteristics. We'll come back at that later. All right, question A. Describe how a scientist would use a comparison of the DNA sequences of different organisms to suggest the most likely evolutionary relationships among the organisms. Part A doesn't even require looking at the cladogram. I'm going to scroll up and down a bunch on this one, so I apologize if this makes anyone a little bit dizzy. So if you look at the rubric, so DNA works because DNA between closely related species is more similar. All you had to say was that the more similar you are, the more closely related you are, the more DNA sequences are going to be similar. Part B, based on Figure 1, explain why Bovidae is likely to be more likely related to Moschidae than it is to Giraffidae. So Bovidae and Moschidae on tree B are closely related. They're right here. On tree A, they are not closely related, all right? Or they're further apart, I should say, in terms of a common ancestor. Tree B shows they have a recent common ancestor. Tree B uses molecular data, which is like the gold standard. Tree A uses morphological data, which doesn't always work. So for part B, the molecular data, or Figure 1b, supports that claim, and molecular data are more reliable. Or you can say that morphological data is less reliable because that could be the result of convergent evolution or analogous structures, which sort of throws you in the wrong direction in terms of showing evolutionary relatedness. All right, part C, using the template and the space provided for your response, represent the point at which characteristic 1 listed in Table 1 evolved by marking an X on the lines of the cladogram in the correct locations. Characteristic 1, extra tooth material, everything has it. Extra tooth material, only Bovidae and Antilocapridae have it. That's Bovidae and Antilocapridae. So on the chart, looking back here, it has to evolve twice. So it has to appear here going toward Bovidae and here going to Antilocapridae. So you put X's on the line going toward species B and the line going toward species A. I think I might be mispronouncing these. If I am, again, I apologize. And question D. Based on Figure 1a, explain why a characteristic found only in Cervidae and Bovidae families is more likely evidence of convergent evolution than it is of common ancestry. So Cervidae and Bovidae, and I'm looking at Figure 1a. Cervidae and Bovidae. Bovidae is here. Cervidae is here. If it originated in a common ancestor, the common ancestor is right here. So if that happened, it's likely everything that evolved after it. So all of these species would have that trait. And since they don't, it says only Bovidae and Cervidae have it. That's probably evidence for convergent evolution or analogous structures. If you look at the rubric, there are other families that have the same ancestor but don't have the trait. You could have said that. Or you could say that it's unlikely that it evolved in a common ancestor and then was lost in Giraffidae, Mochidae, and Antilocapridae. That's just less likely. Okay, I went a little bit over 5 minutes. Forgive me. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.